Stephanie Niklich, your host for Success in Stilettos, and I have a very special guest that's here with me today that I can't wait to dig in and share her experience about creating online rock star status. So today I have Jenn Scalia with me. I'm going to let her take a moment to introduce herself, and then we're going to dive in and answer some really awesome questions here. So thanks, Jenn, for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Can't wait to share all this goodness that I have bottled up with your audience. So I'm Jenn Scalia. I am a business coach and visibility coach for online entrepreneurs, mostly service-based businesses. And I help my clients get more clients really by being more visible, by putting themselves out there, by really showing up as the expert in their field.
That's awesome. And so let's waste no time here, right? And let's jump right into the goodies and talk to everybody here about a little bit about your experience, because I know there's a lot of women and online entrepreneurs in the space that are probably really struggling with that visibility factor. They're like, what do I talk about? What's too much to say? What's not enough to say? How do I position my skill set as an expert in this space? There's so much going on, you know, and I think you've really been able to master that. But I like to go back, I like to get really vulnerable here, and I like to go back to the days where that wasn't always the case, just to show people what's possible. Because we all had our story of what we've had to overcome in this business space to keep going to be where we are right now. So can you just talk a little bit about your personal experience and maybe shed some light and give some little golden nuggets of inspiration to everyone that's watching to keep moving forward?
Absolutely. I actually love sharing my story because I think a lot of people can relate. So I am an entrepreneur. Yes, I am an introvert. I'm a born introvert. So putting myself on display is not natural for me. I was always like the right-hand person, the assistant, the kind of behind the scenes person. And I love that stuff. You know, I love strategy and I love all that kind of stuff. But I knew that if I wanted to make it online, I had to have a shift in my mindset about being the one in the forefront and about really being the face of my brand. So probably the first, I would say at least the first entire year that I, you know, once I made the decision that I was going to start my own business, I was invisible. I still hid. I hid behind, you know, my social media channels. I even had like this name for my business that wasn't my name. So I struggled a lot. I struggled a lot in the beginning because, like I said, it just wasn't natural for me to be, you know, all out there and to be extroverted and to tell people, hey, I do this, or hey, I'm great, or hey, I can help you, you know. A lot of that too was, you know, not just the introvertedness, but also a lack of confidence because I was just starting. I was like, you know, there's so many other people out there and they've been doing this for years, and who am I to come in and just act like I'm the bomb, right? So it was really, really tough, at least for my first year. And that is why now, like, this is what I do. Now, this is why I'm so passionate about helping other people get comfortable with the idea of, you know, owning your expertise, get comfortable with being online, being the face of your brand, with being visible, with other people recognizing you and noticing you and coming to you. It really takes a big shift in mindset if you come from that place where you either lack confidence, you're brand new, or you're an introvert. So I know what it feels like personally, so I feel like I can really connect and relate with certain people. You know, I'm not, you know, that natural extrovert just saying like, hey, just put yourself out there, just, you know, do whatever. Like, I totally know what it feels like, and I know that it sucks, but like I mentioned, it's really about putting this thing that you want, this vision for your business or this vision for your life, as something that's so much bigger than yourself. For me, it was about getting over myself. And I tell my clients all the time, like, get over it, get over yourself, getting over the ego that's going to say, oh, so-and-so is going to say this about me, or so-and-so is going to think this about me, and just saying, you know what, screw it. Like, this vision that I have is going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. And I'm going to leave everything else behind. I'm going to leave every excuse behind. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I am right now.
Yeah, that's amazing. If you guys don't know Jenn, she's like completely unstoppable. So it's hard to think, oh my God, like you're an introvert by nature because you're such a big deal in the online space and you've really made a name for yourself. So it just shows that anything that's going on, it's here, right? It's like all up here. It's like I had to become comfortable with myself in a lot of ways too. Like, who gives a shit what somebody thinks about me? If they don't like me, that's fine. They're probably not my ideal client. We're not going to mesh anyway. And you weren't put on this earth to make everybody happy. You were just put on this earth to be able to serve the people that need you the most. And those might be those other introverts that have something really wonderful to share, but don't quite understand how to put themselves out there. Something that you said that really stuck out to me is the mindset, because we might be a little bit advanced in our business trainings and working with people, right? But I think it's where it all starts, where it allows the floodgates to open and the magic to start happening is the overcoming of yourself, right? In my own personal business, I had to have a complete shift of the mindset. My business, my income was lacking. My debt was accumulating, if that's a nice way of putting it. And I felt like I was drowning in fear and scarcity and anxiety. And it was a constant thing. But the thing that had to change first was me. My thought about business, my thought about success, my thought about where's this all going? Why am I working this hard? All of those things, like I needed a huge shift of the mindset. And I think that that's something that a lot of people struggle with. Do you have some tips that you've used in your own personal life and your business to help you really shift out of that space? Was it, for me, I was just like, this is it. Like the reality of my current situation looked so damn bad. I was like, I know I'm capable of success, but I know I can't do this alone. And I know that I need to ask for help, but I first need to take responsibility for where I've gotten myself in order to get myself out of this space. What was your experience?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I 100% feel like taking responsibility is the first step. I think you really have to just say, you know what, like, this is what I want. This is the current situation. And if it doesn't mesh, it's my responsibility to do something about it. I think, that a lot of times I see people that are blaming other people or, the things that they're seeing, or they blame their coach, or they blame this course or whatever for not, seeing the results. And that is definitely number one. It's definitely taking that responsibility, also being aware of like what's going on around you and why it's going on, because nothing is by accident, right? And I think that, we need to be the creator of our life and our business and our income. And it starts with taking responsibility. And it starts with, like I said, making this thing that you want, whatever it is, whatever success looks like for you, make that bigger than yourself. Because if you stay stuck inside and you stay stuck in your head, never going to happen. Things are never going to change. You're just going to continue to blame and, look for the excuses. And it's just about taking that and saying, this is what I want. I'm making it happen, period, end. That's what happened to me when I had like my first 5-figure month, which was just a year ago. It was in December of 2014. I remember, like, I will never forget. I will never forget. Yeah, I'll never forget that month. Like I'll never forget like what happened, because, I was kind of teetering on that line of like, I know I'm going to be successful. I know I'm going to make it happen, but I didn't know how. So I was still on that line of like, do I believe it? Do I not believe it? Do I believe it? Do I not believe it? And I think that once it actually happened, like before my eyes, I was like, that's it. It's happening. And I remember telling myself then, I will never have less than a 5-figure month ever again.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm like, I know how to do it now. I did it.
Yeah.
So if I can do it once, like I can do it over and over and over and over and over again. And that's what I've done. So it's, the second thing is taking the responsibility, or the first thing is taking responsibility. The second thing is making that decision to what you want your life and your business to look like.
Ooh, that's a good one. And it's something that I think we can both relate to, just because I have a little bit of a preview. I know you in the space now of your own personal story. something that comes up a lot, which does go back to the making excuses, but a lot of people say, I don't have the money, I can't afford that.
Mm.
And oh, it gets me so not feeling good, because I'm like, you know what? Neither did I. I didn't have the money. I was over $100,000 in debt when I invested in a high dollar mentor. I put it on multiple credit cards. I did whatever the hell I had to do because I believed in myself first, right? I was ready. I was ready to commit. I was ready to take action. I could see the success. I could see it. I could taste it, but I had no idea how to get to it. And I knew that I had accumulated that current circumstance that I was in. And this was about 1.5 years ago. I had gotten there by myself. I had gotten there with the mentality that I can do it all. I should be doing it all because the money's not coming in. No, wrong. The worst mentality you could possibly have. It's something that I want to talk about is the difference, because this kind of pisses me off, quite frankly. The difference between the mentality of spending money and investing in your life and your business. And kind of there's a lot of things going on with people. I don't have the money. What's your feeling about that? I don't think you had the money when you started to really commit to creating this type of life or business either. And go for it.
I think, the way that I see it is I feel like a lot of people don't have the money, but it doesn't mean that you can't get it.
That's the truth.
And it doesn't mean that you can't be resourceful and find the ways. Just like you're saying, when you want something bad enough, you will find a way. And the only reason that you wouldn't be out there hustling, trying to find a way, trying to come up with reasons how you can make it happen is because you don't believe in yourself. And you have this fear that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to put this on a credit card, or I'm going to borrow money from my parents, or I'm going to hustle my ass off and I'm going to pay this person, or I'm going to buy this course, or I'm going to do this, and I'm going to still fail. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where that I don't have money becomes kind of, to me, I think at this point, when I hear people say that, I feel like that's the easy way out. It's so easy to say, I don't have money, so I'm not going to do it. It's not so easy to say, I don't believe in myself, or I think I might fail, or, I don't think that this is going to work. It's so much easier to blame it on something else.
Well, that's the truth. But I think it's a flawed mindset, though, to think of it in terms of I'm spending money, because it's a very big difference. Spending money is I'm going to go out and buy a brand new BMW X5 and drive it off the lot, but I can't invest a dime in my business. Well, that's not smart.
Exactly. No, and I think there's a big, huge misconception in the online world, or anybody who wants to be a consultant or a coach, or doing something online, that like it's free, or that it doesn't cost money to start a business. Think of, and I always use this as an example because I'm like, say you want to, open up a coffee shop in your town. You're going to go to the bank and you're going to say, bank, I need money because I have this business idea and I want to have, this coffee shop, and I need to hire employees, and I need to hire equipment, and I need to hire I need to buy tables and chairs, and I need to rent the space, and I need to get insurance, and I need to hire all these people. You're spending a crap load of money. No, you're not spending it, right? You're investing because you are going to build a business. So why is the same not true when you have an online business? You have to invest to get to where you want to be. You have to invest in hiring help. You have to invest in bettering yourself. You have to invest in getting training. You have to invest in getting mentoring, in, getting like the perfect website up, in, everything. Like, it just amazes me. And I really just think that I love that you brought up the question, because I think it does need to be talked about. That it doesn't, that old saying, it takes money to make money, 100% true.
100% true. And I think the people that I see that are really killing it, it's that we have done things in the beginning. We have made sacrifices in our business. Could I go out there and buy that brand new X5 that I'm dreaming about, right? Yeah, of course. But is that smart? Is that an investment? Or is that going to be put into the pool of spending money? Because I would rather go hire another member on my team to get me to a multiple 7-figure business in 2016, right? So my mentality, and I think I see that the way that the most successful people think it's not really about being flashy. It's not really about carrying around your Birkin handbag. It's really about, in the beginning stages, the first 3 to 5 years, and actually probably forever, that you're putting majority of that income back into your business. And I know for me, I was not making money. I was not paying myself in the beginning, but I was paying people to build my dream, because I couldn't be here right now if I hadn't paid those people. So I didn't look at it like, oh my God, it's an added expense. It's this money that's going out every month. I looked at it as, I'm investing in my future. I'm investing in my business growth. And I need these people on my team in order to make it happen.
Absolutely. And I love that you bring up the team too, because I think that's a big mistake a lot of new entrepreneurs make too, is I can do it myself. Like you were saying, I can do it on my own. You can't do it on your own, like period. And you cannot do it yourself. You can try for the first year, struggle and figure it out that like, hey, I can't do this myself. But I think that's such a strong point. And especially, I think it's hard. I'm sure that you're much like me, where you're very type A, you're a go-getter, you're going to be successful no matter what. And we feel like, what, I can do it all. Like I can do everything. But just because you can do it does not mean that you have to do it.
Well, I don't even know if you can successfully do it. In my case, that got me into over $100,000 in debt. The doing it all myself. I went to be a marketing expert. I'm gonna learn how to run my Facebook ads, and I'm gonna be my own virtual assistant. Screw that. Like, I only focus on the things that I'm genuinely good at and that I love to do. And my business has grown leaps and bounds because of that. So yes, I was putting money into things when the money wasn't necessarily coming back at that exact moment, but that has freed up the space to do what I love to do, to be passionate about my business every day, and to drive insane amounts of income. So I think it's worth it.
Yeah, and I think another thing too that that needs to be talked about is just that it takes time. It takes time for all of this to happen, and that, from the outside looking in, like people probably look at you and they look at me and they're like, oh, they just got lucky, or they're an overnight success, or it happens so fast. And it's like, this is why I love to tell my story, because I'm like, no, it's this is years in the making. This is probably my whole lifetime in the making. Just going out there and trying to make this happen, and then finally, boom, it happens. But like, that's the only thing that people see. So it does take time. And I think that's something I come across a lot, and I'm sure you do as well, is, new entrepreneurs come like, how fast can I, make 6 figures? How fast will I get my first client? And it's like, wait a minute. Like, you got to do the back work first. Like, let's not forget about the fundamentals of like growing a business.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really, really good point to make. And I think because they come in and they see other people's middle, right? They see like, oh, the talk of a successful launch or something, where somebody hit a 6-figure launch, but it's not, what I feel is not really spoken about so openly. And I try to be as transparent as possible, is what it actually took for that to come to life, right? It was months of work in the making. It was time, it was team, it was energy, it was sanity. It was a whole bunch of stuff before that actually could come to fruition. So I think it's really important that you bring that up. And I think it's something that as experts in the space that I strive to do, and I hope that everybody else strives to do, because sometimes I think there has been people, I know earlier in my entrepreneurial years, I clung on to, I'm going to get you making 5 figures a month in the first 90 days of working with me. Ooh, and there's no guarantee on that, right? Because so much relies on what the client is committed to doing. And so in a way I take responsibility, but I was sold the magic pill. And so I talk about it openly. I'm like, there is no magic pill. I don't believe that unicorns exist. I'm not going to ride in on a red carpet and sell you a dream. Like, you got to be willing to put in the work. Like, I worked my ass off, and quite frankly, I still do, so, and it's been years in the making, right? It's been years. And I think it's something that I'm so happy we're jamming on this, because this is my thing, because I'm like, no, that, I get the urge to want to make 6 figures overnight, right? I'm super type A. I'm not very patient by nature. I want to do that right away, right? I wanted to do that right away. But I went through the correct processes, because if you don't have a foundation that's built, okay, maybe you go have a couple great months, but you're out of business when the first wave comes. And I don't think that's the way to grow a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally 100% agree on that. And I think, yeah, just more awareness needs to happen around that, you know. And another thing is, and I believe that I had interviewed you for this probably beginning of the year, where I interviewed actually 10 women who were making over 6 figures. And I asked them, you know, what their investments were, not just time, not just hustle, but like their actual monetary investments. And the people that I see that are making a lot of money have also invested a lot of money.
Ooh,
I don't think I've seen anybody that is, you know, making really, really great money that hasn't invested in their business and in themselves.
Every single day, and always looking for the next big thing. Like, it's not to say at this point it's still not scary sometimes, right? Like you know, like every, you know, business is an evolution at every point. So you get to a certain point in your business and you're like, all right, we got here and this is awesome, and we've had these people on our team or the help of and support of these people to get us here, but now we want to go there. And so that takes another like big risk, right? And so I'm always talking to my team like, all right guys, are you ready? And they're like, how much is it gonna cost? I'm like, don't ask. It's fine. It's an investment. It's what we need to get us to the next step. So I think that, you know, people are like, well, it's scary at any level. It's scary when you're starting. It never stops really being scary, because the moment you get comfortable is the moment you're not really moving the needle in your business. So I like to always kind of be on that verge of like really uncomfortable because I feel like I'm always pushing myself to move forward in that case. We actually are like at the end of our time. It flew by. I'd actually love to bring you back and we could talk about a couple other things in more detail, but I think everybody that's here with us today is really going to appreciate the authenticity and the transparency and the things that maybe some people aren't willing to talk about, but really need to be talked about. And you know, the point of the show, why I created this show, is because Collaborate got such an incredible feedback, but people wanted more. And it felt like it's my duty to bring to them the stuff that no one is talking about, right? It's like the real deal, because that's how I operate my business. So I thought there's no better guest that I need to bring on this show today than you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Why don't you tell people how they can connect with you?
Awesome. So the best and easiest way to connect with me is just on my website. It's jenscalia.com. And if you want to find me on social media, it's Jenn Scalia everywhere on social media.
Don't worry, you'll find her. If you don't know her already, you'll find her. She's making it really easy.
Pretty simple, yeah.
Well, Jenn, thank you so much again for being here today. And I'm sure everybody on the other end is just like, oh, this is all right. I got that drive. I'm ready to go out there and do it. If these ladies can do it, I can do it too. And I think that's really a good note to end on. You know, something I always like to say is a quote that stuck with me through this whole process, and it's that dreams really do come true when you have the courage to pursue them. And that was a quote it came from Walt Disney, who applied for Disney World financing over 302 times before he got it. So, you know, if he had given up at 300, there would be no Disney World. So I think it's important, because it's not that we knock it out of the park every time, although we have come to a point where things are starting to make sense, right? Like, we're pushed to do things every day that are uncomfortable. We continually invest in our businesses, and we believe in the growth and the bigger vision. So if we can do it, you can do it too. There's no difference between you or us. Jenn, thank you for being here. I'm Stephanie Nicholas, your host for Success in Stilettos, where we meet and we talk the real deal of success. You know, pull back the curtain and see what's really going on in business. And we meet every Monday and Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will take questions from anybody. That can totally chime in and write some questions. And I hope to see you guys all around soon. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.